Hey, 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 welcome back. Welcome back to the Virgo channel. My name is Laura. If you're new to my channel, I'm going to do a general message for Virgo. Know that energy is fluid. Roles could be reversed. Just interpret the message as it best resonates with you. Also know on this channel and all my channels, I like to dive deep within the reading. So I look at everything. We take time to look at the spiritual blocks, the shadows, see how they play those karmic themes, help you understand why everything's playing out the way that it is. Really important when you're dealing with spiritual blockages. Spiritual blockages are just a combination between um, astral energy, which is thought energy, combined with emotional energy held in the body as stress. It's what becomes your energy vibration. So you don't even have to say anything. We can actually feel that energy. And that's why when you don't heal spiritual blockages, they turn into physical imbalances, right? Because your body is your mind's faithful servant. So when you understand why everything's playing out the way that it is, you have an opportunity to change it. Because again, there's many different realities that play out at one time. So you get to choose the reality that you want to live. But a lot of times we don't. We get stuck in these karmic cycles. So again, I do look at everything, but the readings have a therapy style to them, and they also are designed to show you why everything's playing out, what you need to do to change that energy. But first, I always like to just look at your energy and not really look at the person. However, sometimes if the person's really obsessive, they'll show up all throughout your reading, even if you don't want that to happen. And it's because ESP through the heart and mind, and how do you manifest the thoughts that you think, the emotions that you have. So you can have someone that's so obsessive that that's how they manifest. And they don't know that they're manifesting a lot of times. That crazy energy we have to watch out for. I don't know why I feel that. I feel like there's a crazy energy. And that usually happens when people are feeling like they're losing control. I don't know why I say what I say, but let's look at, we're only going to look at two blockages. And then that kind of just, okay, that wants to come out. And let's pull another one. Oof. Let's pull another one. Let's pull from this deck. A little of this, a little of that. I like to try and look at things from all different perspectives. That's why I like to pull from all different cards like that. Right. No, maybe should we? Yeah, we'll pull from this deck too. Put those away. All right, let's see. Okay, a new romantic cycle begins. Well, that explains why there's crazy energy. Your commitment is being tested. Step out of your comfort zone. Be walking your life's journey. You are dismantling false belief systems. Take a walk in nature today. Consciously connect with Mother Earth. And then we're going to look at these cards, which is meditation and security and patience, sweet memories, and the signs are with you already. And then you got burnout, stress and burnout, and reactive abuse. So I feel like automatically it was like, oh, somebody, you're going to get a lot of attention. You're going to get all of a sudden get a lot of attention. And it means like more than one person is going to be interested in you. And the thing is, you haven't been talking to someone for a while, and it's making them crazy. It's making them crazy because they can affect you. At one point, however, this is a wound, reactive abuse. And reactive abuse happens when a person like deliberately tries to trigger you, and then, it's the focus isn't on what they did, it's on how you react so that you look crazy. So they were trying to get you to react, and the thing is you didn't react. So it's almost like you don't have feeling then. So this person has become very obsessive, and that's why I felt that before. And now that you're getting attention, well, this person is bugging out, and they're bugging out. See, where reactive abuse is when a person like does that, a lot of times it's their own thoughts and their own emotions then that will bring them down, because it's, again, it's the person has something to work on. Like, if you react, then they know that you'll be stuck ruminating. And if you're stuck ruminating, you won't move forward. So again, and so it makes it also look like, oh, look how much you're into them. Look how much you desire them. And you're not like desiring them. You're not doing anything. So I feel like these are the two things that you were actually, you healed them, but they were wounds, and the reactive abuse and stress and burnout. Now, this is also doing a lot. And so, Spirit's saying, so that's why that person is in place of sweet memories right now. And I feel like for you, your energy really is on your security and trying to build something. And Spirit says it's going to come into fruition. However, your commitment is being tested, and it is going to require patience, is what Spirit's saying. So that's a wound also. Like, let's just say, like, hey, I don't normally have things work out for me. It's because, again, that energy is telling me that, because that person's crazy. Getting you to react would be self sabotaging to you. And so, Spirit's saying it's like your commitment is being tested to yourself, to your dream. So, like I said, this person trying to make you feel bad, that's not happening. What's happening is a new, like, you meet somebody else. So I feel like it's almost like the scales are like evening out. And so Spirit's saying, and in that, you're actually dismantling false belief systems about yourself and about what you can have for yourself and the relationship. So it's like with the job or the opportunity that you're looking for, whatever you're trying to create in your life when it comes to job, Spirit's saying it's going to happen, but it's a walk, it's an unfoldment process. And that unfoldment process allows you to dismantle, old belief systems, because you get to see yourself differently. I feel like the person that's tapped into you, that's all over your reading, is like someone that you're not even talking to anymore. It's someone that, you let go of, where again, they thought that you were going to react. That's why they held back. They wanted you to react. They wanted you to fight for the relationship, is what I feel like. So Spirit's saying it's like, no, it's like that person wanted you to get ungrounded. So I feel like grounding is something that's very important. Was also probably a wound. And that happens if you grew up in a certain environment that didn't make you feel safe. And now the relationship, but the job also, like, I'm feeling like it's like right now you're clear, you have the opportunity to clear financial blockages, so that again, for security, healing security, and also relationship blockages. And that's because you're again becoming yourself, but you're being tested. So are there challenges? Yeah, there's challenges, because you're not healed. How do you think you heal it? You think all of a sudden it's magically healed? No, you get a spiritual test and you have to walk through it. You have to do things differently. This karmic person that's energy is all over your energy is someone that's just like their little plan backfired on them, is what I feel. So Spirit's saying it's like when you step out of your comfort zone, it's like it's talking about like within your work. It's like you might be someone that's a little shy, or You're good at your job. It's not like you're not great at your job, but you don't want to take the reins. You don't want to be the one that it's like the leader. You don't want to be that person for some of you, and for others it's, do trying different things. But I feel like Spirit's saying it's like there's an opportunity, and that opportunity, like, you need to like jump on it. Otherwise, like, what'll happen is it goes, the dream goes away. So it's almost like Spirit saying it's like stepping into a better version of yourself. This is how you get to become yourself. So again, within the job, like, I feel like there's an opportunity for a job. And that's really what Spirit's saying. It's like that you gotta put yourself out there. You gotta like to step outside of your comfort zone, because in that, you're gonna see yourself differently. Other people are gonna see you differently, and that's the thing. It's more opportunities come for you. The path unfolds while you're on it. This person that had their energy all over you, and this new relationship, and this job is related to the second chakra. Second chakra is all about your unique individuality. So I feel like you grew up in an environment that made you feel, that there was something wrong, or you dated someone at a young age that made you feel like there was something wrong with you, so you're healing that. Because you can't have money blocks or relationship blocks unless you feel like there's something wrong with you. And so you have to transmute the negative energy. And the only way that that's going to happen is by you becoming a new version of yourself. And I feel like we're connected to somebody that, like I said, they're ruminating because, hey, their plan backfired and now they don't really know how to come back, is what I'm feeling. But let's see what they're thinking, and then let's look at the new relationship, and then let's look at the job. Hey, Britt. Yeah, like, that's the thing. People, I read your comments after. I mean, narrow-mindedness. Yeah, I feel like you were connected to someone that like it had to be all their way. And they're still that way. They're only looking at things from their perspective, more from a survival perspective. So there it shows their wounds, and that's what it is. It's like this person, I feel like they become like a lot, like almost yeah, you'll have to come back. Um, like, I feel like this person is not going to want to give up, and that's the thing where this is about you also not giving up on your dream. Perseverance is that. I feel like this person is fantasizing, and the fantasizing is like, what are you doing? Where are you going? Where the odd thing here is omnipresent and omniscience rather, and omniscience is God. So is this a soul relationship? Yeah, it's a soul relationship, but it's a past life karmic relationship. So it did come into your life to teach. You're also becoming more in the energy of that energy, because God is ubiquitous. There's no separation between you and your creator. The shadows and spiritual blocks make you perceive that there are. This is why manifestation is not instantaneously, is what Spirit's saying. So it's like, again, what is it all for? It's like, and Spirit says to, again, get to revert back to your original energy of unconditional love, to see yourself as whole, to return to wholeness. It's like that's the whole point. It's like, and yes, this person, and there is a spiritual, very spiritual connection. So this person does care a lot. It's like, but are they fragmented? Yes, is what Spirit says. It's, again, only my love is perfect, God says. The thing is, it's like fragmented people have, bad habits, bad behaviorisms. They feel like there's something wrong. They have, you know, And that's what blocks them from manifesting. They do it to themselves, self sabotage. And so, what's going on with this person is they listen to other people. They don't trust themselves, is what Spirit's saying. It's like, if you want to know, but do they feel your energy? Yeah, of course. They need to be strong in who they am. They what it is you make them not feel strong. Like they know that they were like a very logical and analytical person, someone that was very grounded, someone that was very survival though, and that's why they're narrow minded, because a person that has spiritual blockages, that has only lived that way, they're only going to know their perception. And the thing is, the way that you did not react to their little game is like showed them, and the way that you're not uh talking to them, hey, listen, this was a spiritual connection. That past life karmic connection feels like a twin flame. It feels like your person. So it's like I said, this person, you made them feel not strong in who they are, where they always thought that they were strong because they were always coming from their ego. They were never coming from that spirit part self. But that's why spirit brings, soul mates, like karmic mates, into life. And that's so everyone does learn. Usually people learn from getting hurt, like where this person's hurt their ego, but they didn't get hurt the way that when they're in a relationship with someone, how they dispose of people and how they treat people, that you get hurt, financially, you get hurt, like, emotionally, and in other ways. They don't pay attention to that. And the spirit says, just like you, I'm always trying to do some form of mission. My energy and wisdom supports those around me. This person thought that they were a good person because, they did that. But it's like it doesn't mean anything. And they also feel like, well, that's our connection. I could see, like, I like to do those things too. And understand, spirit says this person gets triggered and their old patterns surfaces and it hurts them. And the reason why is because the depth of this connection is inspiring, but is very overwhelming for this person. So it's like they get overstimulated. It makes them feel inadequate. It makes them feel like there's something wrong with them. And then on top of it, that you hold to a certain standard. So this person tried to see whether or not is that real. It's like they thought that it wasn't real, that you were really like that. And that's because they normally go dumpster diving, is what I feel, or that's the level of, who they go out with. So they're going through a dark night of the soul. Nothing in their life makes sense because, like I said, it's like that's the fact that they care, the fact that they want to be a stronger spiritual person, but they're not. You know, because again, they feel inadequate, and that's what makes them, instead of them like getting triggered to like actually do something to heal themselves, instead it kind of makes them rebel, kind of makes them feel like, again, but we may know that they may not be rebelling against you, but rebelling against themselves. Like, what is this person doing with their time? It's like, is what I want to know. It's like, well, there's money problems, money matters, and like just this person's like in a place of disempowerment, where I feel like they think that everything else, every problem that they have is not theirs. So they project a lot. And spirit's saying they project a lot, and so they're angry. And that's why I said this person's ruminating a lot on you. And they're angry because, again, they thought that they were going to play this a certain way, but they have problems within their life. Otherwise, it's not just a relationship. This person has issues. It's like they're stuck in their betrayal, but they're the ones that keep betraying. They're acting like a victim. And really, they're lazy. They don't really want to put the time in. Or I shouldn't, spirit says, They're not lazy. It's that they have anxiety. And so it looks like they're lazy because it's again, they're stuck in fear. They're stuck in, I don't know what to do. I'm stuck in, like, I'm stressed out. And that's because it's again, them coming to you, they'd have to be vulnerable. They'd actually have to, like, say, how they truly feel. See, that's what I feel. I feel like this person played a game because you really did care about them. And then what happened is that their little game backfired, and now, you have other options, and life is happening for you, life to actually heal. And healing is actually being with someone that knows how to communicate, that knows how to treat you well. This is this person's karma, and they know it, but there is a past life karmic connection. But the problem with these karmic connections is there's always going to be a lack of trust. And that's the thing. Um, Trust is something that happens over time. And when it erodes, then that's when relationships become very toxic. So this person has issues where they create that. So there's a part of them that's like, doesn't really believe that the relationship will work out because of that. And so, now the irony is that this person's jealous. And it's like, well, because you're getting attention, you're not stuck, you're not reactive, you're not, this person might have known that you had trauma growing up and figured, well, or you might have told them that you went through a bad relationship before. So sometimes that never tell anybody the bad relationship that you had with anybody. First of all, they should have to earn that information because people will use that against you. And I kind of feel like this person had a perception of you, and I don't know why. They're like reliving their trauma, and it's that's their trauma that no one stays, but they don't know why they create the life. They don't realize that they're constantly manipulating, and when they're trying to manipulate from a very like you know, toxic. This person's toxic, and they manipulate from a that low level. Well, if you're coming from a high vibration, you were coming from a high vibration because that's something of who you really are. This person tries to mirror those elements to make it seem like they're a good person. They're not a good person. And that's the thing. So because you actually are a good person, that's why this person, like, you didn't get the karma. And that's why this person has to look at their behavior, and they're pissed off. That's why, and I knew that they were pissed off because, again, there's part of them that everything says that they need to create new habits because it's those behaviorisms is like what they think. It's like it's who they are. They don't need to be that way, but they're comfortable in the karma contract type of relationship that's full of drama, full of trauma, and reliving that. Like, they're addicted to adrenaline. And that's why they would again try to come into your life and let me create some craziness, make you react. So again, so I can relive the narrative that I want to, think, and I want other people to think that too, where really it's like no one thinks that, and this person is delusional, and that's the ego got so big, and that's so crazy. So now they're in a place of victimhood, like poor me, and that's another thing. It's like they never look at anything. So because they never look at anything, it'll always be your fault. It's always they're still projecting. They're still projecting. And that's that they're in their delusion. And so when a person doesn't want to admit things, that's how they play it. It's just I don't want to heal. I don't want to do the work. This person's like lazy, but they're lazy because they're stuck in the trauma, stuck in fear, stressed out, and that's overthinking, emotional, compulsive, that all the addictive behaviors because now they lost control, And it's really, again, things that this person is just inheriting. So they never get out of that karmic loop. It's just one loop into another loop into another loop because they bring themselves with them. So obviously they don't trust relationships. And then here's this relationship that is intense. It's a spiritual connection. This person doesn't know how to handle that. It's like they don't know, like, it's like you make them feel inadequate, but they already feel inadequate, but that's again how they grew up, the family pattern. And so the habits and the behaviorisms come from that. So spirit says it has nothing to do with you. Again, this person does have feelings for you. That's what it looks like. You're like, that's what it looks like. For me, why does it have to look like that? And spirit says, because you need healing. It's not because of that the person doesn't care. It's like they can't express, they can't be vulnerable, they can't be, and that's when there's abuse. Again, growing up in abuse is growing up in a covenant. So this person had that, and then every single relationship becomes the same because they never fix it. And so we just see that. And so, yeah. But it's not that the person doesn't have feelings. They do have feelings. That's what it looks like. Like, doesn't logically make sense because it's a spiritual connection, and that's why we do these readings, because it's like, what the hell? Why? And spirit says, yeah, well, again, because a person like needs to heal themselves. And so what it is, it's like this person, you see, this is a headache, and this is like, you see what I was saying, that the spiritual issues eventually make a person sick. Right now, this person's starting to get sick, and they're starting to get sick because they are nervous, they're anxiety, they're compulsive, they're like I said, they're stuck in that, addicted to adrenaline. And when you do that, you're conditioning your body to live in survival mode. So it shuts down, your digestion. It shuts down, and in order to do that, there's also then you feel really tired, like lazy and lethargic, like I don't know what to do. It's like because this person is spiritually sick. And I think that people that grow up in an environment that makes them feel like there's something wrong with them, you know, that makes them feel like they're not loved and they can't be loved. And to watch a toxic relationship, which is mother and father, because that that's what they grew up in. But then there's also how the parents talk to that child. And now that that child also wasn't creating themselves, they were, in survival. So this person is stuck in that. So of course they don't want to take off the mask. Of course they don't want to like be vulnerable. It's just that's a thing, strategy. Like it's like this person's normally very smart, by the way. It's like so they got a little cocky but the thing is, spiritually smart. This person might have not thought that you were that smart, but you're spiritually smart, and that's the thing. But this person strategizes to get what they want. And so now it's like I said, I feel like they don't have a way to like get back into your life, is what I'm feeling. They don't have a way to like get back in. And there's like this, I don't even want to show you this unconditional love that that they feel, because hey, that spiritual connection is always there. It's not like it's not. It transcends time and space. They found you in this lifetime from a previous lifetime. It's like that's undeniable. That is real. But again, it's so real that you have to do the work. You can't just be the phony, fake person that you've been. You have to be real. And that's so super scary for a person that like has not done any healing and has grown up where they've been taught that love equals betrayal, love equals victimization, love equals all these things that it's not. And that's the thing. So this person, regardless of whether or not they there's a new beginning for you, there will be a new beginning for them either way, is what Spirit says, but almost like beginning, starting over. And that's because they needed their ego stripped down. Over time, when a person doesn't heal, that's they just, you know, live in their habits and behaviorisms, and they live in the ego, and they just project, and that's where this person was. It's like that's what it's actually normal, because the psyche can't handle it all at once. It just can't fathom. Especially if there was like sexual abuse, if there was like any type of physical abuse, any type of, like that degrading. And this person's becoming self-aware. So it's the ego is coming down because, like I said, this person was a narcissist, and it's because they never learned how to love themselves. And it's because, hey, they didn't weren't appreciated growing up. So it's not like that. This person actually didn't have the resources to fix it. And that's really, or where to start or why to start. It's like, I don't even think that they were conscious that they needed healing. Like I said, it just like, hey, the experience is over and gone with. So they just became more narrow minded and narrow minded and narrow minded. And that's a person that is like, is in survival. Things need to be my way, super controlling, total karmic contract. That's what that would be. Because, the person is like doesn't love themselves. So what are the chances of you sticking around? And now on top of it, it's this real spiritual connection. And, they have all these fears, and it's like, you kill them. If you That's what they would think if you like wouldn't stay, and most likely you wouldn't stay, is what the issue is. So again, this person has a broken heart, but understand they only go so deep, because Spirit says, yeah, yeah, it's true, they are hurt, it's not like they don't, but it's again because, hey, there was like they had this daydream, fantasize that you were, but didn't we get that? We got fantasizing. Yeah, fantasizing. I remember that. Like, like fantasizing about who they thought you were, but that's not who you are. It's again, that's in their imagination. And Spirit's saying it's like, and they astral travel is, yes, of course, because there's a, ESP through the heart and mind. It's a soul connection. So they never had that. And so the passion and the mystery of what it could be, this person built it up in their head, but they didn't show it. They acted like an ass. And that's the thing. They have the second chakra imbalance, and that's a person that overcompensated there to the point that it ruined the relationship. And that's what this person, did. And that's because they weren't coming from their truth. You would have liked them, and that's what they're reflecting on. Like, why didn't I just, you know, do that? And so now again, they're still in their old habits. Old habits die hard and stuck in their family patterns. And Spirit's saying it's like this person never gets out of it. It's like you see that it's just their old habits, their family patterns, like they're stuck in that time. And that's what'll continue to happen. It will continue until they let it go. But until they're put in the effort, like which we don't see them doing, Spirit says no. And like until we see them put in the effort, they're going to be stuck in that karmic loop. And so Spirit says that's why you're getting a new person, because Spirit says, maybe next lifetime, not this lifetime. And that's why it's like this, why this person's pissed off, because now you're getting attention. Now someone new comes in and is going to give you all the love and the attention that this person did not. So of course they're pissed off. They're the victim. Really, they're not the victim. They don't know how to get out of that karmic loop. But it would require them to like be normal, and they don't want to do it. So that's like not your issue. That's a them issue, and that you have to just like holding your boundaries is forcing this person to heal, whether they want to or not, because hey, you're the one that got away. You're the one that it's again that it could have been something special. It could have been. They prevented that from happening. And they know it all because they wanted to create a stupid illusion and make you so stupid. And that's how this person sabotages himself and looks stupid. And it's like, but that's the karmic pattern. Self-sabotage, grief, victimization, all of it. That's this person. And so it's like, things got too intense for me, so I ran away. I couldn't give you the love that you truly deserve. So again, that's this person. It's like not that they didn't have a feeling for you. They did. It's like, but it's like that's the level that they're willing to go to. Which means whoever's going to be with them is going to settle for the little breadcrumbs. Is going to settle to be treated like a piece of crap, because this person needs to be seen a certain way. And that's in order for them to look themselves in the mirror, to digest themselves. And that's, their ego is so big and they're not going to treat you well because that. The Spirit says again, where I feel like right now, Spirit's saying, like, stand your ground, know that you are connected again, and that's the Spirit. And again, the focus is on stability, timing. Everything's unfolding the way that it's supposed to. And Spirit is saying again, that's spiritual knowledge. It's like it just is moving into this new passage, like you're moving into a whole, like that's the end of this person. It's like because you're transforming. So like I said, this person like helped you do it and helps you bring in new energy. Like you were never supposed to be with them. They were karmic. You're not never supposed to be with a person that it makes you feel bad about yourself. That's not the way that it goes. I have karmic debts that need to be paid off before I can come back to you. So I want to ask about the other person. It's about the other person. It's like I don't want to hear about this person. And it's like it's a new relationship, but this person's energy is all over your energy. Like I said, like all over it because it's like, hey, it's over. The relationship's over. And I think they thought you were still playing a game or something. And what they see is no. And they actually see other people coming into your life. And I want to know about those people. Damn it. Like, not about this loser. No offense. Like, not about this person. It's like they learn after the fact. It's like that's your problem. The Spirit says it needed to happen like that. Otherwise, they wouldn't never looked at themselves ever. And that's the bottom line. You know what I mean? I feel you even though we're apart. So again, this might be like another soulmate, that, you met. And that's normally how it works. Like as one door closes, another door opens. I am grateful for the spiritual lesson. So I feel like I want to know about this person. Now I can't tell this person or this person. I want to know about the new person. I love you. No, I think that, again, we're not going to get a clear read on that new person yet because it hasn't actually happened yet. And this person's energy is completely dominating the reading, and it's because, like I said, there's like it's not that this other person may not be thinking of you, but it's a new relationship. And I actually like the fact that I don't can't pick up anything, because it doesn't mean that this person's obsessive. You know what I mean? If you could over that person, they'd probably be just obsessive. But when a person is thinking about you and thinking about you, it's like it's almost like a coating goes over you. And I know that that sounds crazy, but I had it actually happen to me, and I would have never believed it. But when I was engaged, side note, when I was engaged to my husband who passed away, but when I was engaged to him, the ex-wife was so pissed off. She thought about me morning, noon, and night, and I would go and get a reading, and they would give me her reading. They would give me her reading, and I knew it was her reading because we took her to court to take get custody of the son. And so, they would like it being like, your son hates you. Like, and I was like, my son doesn't hate me. And they were like, your son hate, and they would give me her reading because she was not a nice person. So I was not treated nicely by a lot of psychics. I would go in and the one lady was like, get out, like literally. And I was like, that's not me. She was like, get out, and I knew what it was. I called my friend, who was a psychic, and I said, Charm, I said, she goes, I said, every person that I go to, I said, I'm getting a reading. She goes, you need to neutralize the energy. She goes, pee on yourself. I said, I'm not going to pee on myself. She goes, you need to neutralize the energy. And so they have other like baths and rituals that you can do, like salt bath, like black salt bath. When someone is thinking about you, they're so compulsive, they will come up like they're a witch, and that's addictive behavior. It's like, and that all the crazy energy that comes with it. And that's the energy that I feel with this karmic person. Is why I can't, like, everything that I pull for the other guy, I'm not getting, because it's like it's too new. It's his spirit saying nothing's happened yet, and it's new. It's like, and they're neutral about it, meaning it's I'm open to seeing what will happen, opposed to you'll be mine. How dare you? Like it's completely different energy. And one is, like you said, extremely dominant and very compulsive, and it definitely would have been a karmic, and you would have been in a karmic connection, karmic contract. And karmic contracts are not good. It means that you're bound to your trauma because you haven't learned the spiritual lesson, and it's a big deal. It's not a little deal. They have the potential to ruin your life. Where it's, again, spirit says learning. And that's really, it's like, that's what it was, learning and inspiration. It's like spirit saying, it's like your goal should be on that right now. It's like creating your life, getting inspired to create your life. And that's not keeping it small. And I only say that because we don't even need to look at the inner child wounds with a reading like this. We already know that the inner child wounds are definitely there by the way that this person was. Like very one-sided and very like narrow-minded, due to, like, again, their issues, what they lived through. It's very selfish. And so again, all those are telltale signs of trauma, of why did I attract this person into my life. So yeah, I always have to look at the inner child wound cards first, is what spirit's saying. So the first card out is shame. The second card out is self-sabotage. The third card out is unworthy. Fourth card out is love. And then rage. Don't like that card. And physical touch. Well, there you have it. It's right there. It's like where spirit's saying, it's like if you grew up with a rageful parent, then understand the way that you learned how to react is also to be angry, a little bit angry sometimes, or they just overreact, just have that anger. And that's a root chakra imbalance. That root chakra is that you grew up in an environment where people were angry. And so you that's where habits of again our environment. So spirit says that rage, that anger. And so being brought up by a parent that made you feel unworthy, that didn't give you the emotional support, you know, taught you not to really love yourself. And so understand self sabotage always comes from shame, that there's a sense of feeling like that there's something wrong, where again, that reactive abuse is always, again, when parent is like rageful. And so spirit's saying it's like you would have self-sabotaged your life if you would have been with this person, and so and they would have kept you bound to that energy of shame, like there's something wrong with you, where you were made to feel like there was something wrong with you. You were made to feel like you were unworthy, where really there was nothing wrong with you. It's that children have their unique unfoldment process. And so maybe your parent was like, you're not smart enough, you're not getting it. They were harsh and projecting a lot of their anger and their rage and their where that's how a second chakra actually it becomes very imbalanced when a parent is does not let their child have their unique unfoldment process. Like there's a process, and it's an unfoldment process, and that happens while you're on it. So, people change, but it's their identity. And when you're not allowed to have an identity because, you're being shamed or made to feel bad, made to feel like there's something wrong with you, when really there's nothing wrong with you. But if a parent grew up with a parent that made them feel that way, well, then there's the family karma. It's passed down. And that is when you're born into a family covenant, ancestral covenant, and there's ancestral vows, especially when a parent talks to their child like there's something wrong with them. They're putting that onto them. So you don't realize, like you said, it's passed down. Vows, when you say, I'm never gonna do, that's a vow. When you're like, when you curse, when you rage, when you like again, all that is lower energy. The spirit saying, and when you grow up in that type of environment, you're made to feel like there's something wrong with you when really there's like really nothing wrong. It's just you weren't allowed to have your unique unfoldment process. Spirit saying, someone came in and was like, I don't like the way that that looks. Change it. And it's like, well, I don't know how I got to do what you want me to do. I got to dress the way that you want me to dress. I got to, act the way that you're not allowed to have an identity. And that's narcissistic, by the way, you know. And I believe that that happens when parent was brought up that way, and then since I didn't have mine, you're not going to have yours. See the rage, how it's passed down, and then it's just that's why it's outdated. That's why you see today like it just doesn't work. Like it's just not working. Like you can't make people be something that they're not. You have to, because it backfires. It makes the person feel like there's something wrong with them. And is spiritual disease. When you feel like there's something wrong with you, it's again, and then that's why you attract a person that is fragmented like that, where they do have love. That's what but that's what it looks like, Spirit's saying. But that's the way that you were raised. So we have to forgive too. And sometimes we can't forgive because we're like, well, we keep dating these type people, or these people keep coming into our lives. So we feel like you did something. And Spirit says, you're going to break that. It goes back to the beginning of the reading where it started with, hey, You're getting a lot of attention. Things are changing. But you got to be patient. You got to be patient. You got to have faith. Your faith is going to be tested. Don't give up. Spirit's saying, don't give up. Only you can sabotage you. Only you can give up and have lack of faith. This is all about integrating all facets of yourself. You were fragmented. Spirit saying you can't grow up that way and think that you're not going to be fragmented. And they going around feeling like there's something wrong with you. God says, I don't make anything that's wrong. It's all like this way that it's supposed to be. It's your judgment is wrong. That's wrong. Spirit says take time out to connect to the higher self. The higher self is that God part of self, which is, again, there is no separation. So the answers are all inside of you. But sometimes we need to take time out and to really, tap in to get connected is what Spirit's saying. It's like that's the most important. Next thing is go into the unknown, you know, because you don't even know everything about yourself, and so going into new environments, learning new things is going to grow you. It's going to you're going to see like what you really like, but it's going to call for exploration so that you can live boldly and live out loud, meaning be true to yourself, like authentic, where you're allowed to be yourself now. That's the whole point. Being with that person, they would have said, this is who you are. You're still shame. You're still this. They would have made you feel that way. Where Spirit says, no, no, no. You better live out loud. You better live authentic. You better live true to yourself, because then that allows you to release the chains that no longer serve you. Again, those core beliefs that were put onto you. That again, that there was something wrong. There was never anything wrong. There was something wrong with the fact of feeling like there was something wrong. God says it's again because I don't make junk. I don't make junk. So you better get that wisdom, the deep wisdom, because it's time for you to go on your soul's path. Again, and that's just make sure that you align your actions with your values, because that's how your karma comes. And the Spirit says you alchemize the energy. So again, you turn the pain into power. And that's by being on now your soul's path. And that's becoming who you're supposed to become, is what Spirit says. And when you're, again, living true to yourself, well, you're living authentically. And that's what the universe responds to. Not perfection, not a mask, authenticity. The heart is what the universe, is going to respond. And then it's going to bring you everything that you need to be successful, because that's how it works. It wants you to win. We're designed to win. It's the world that's evil, that the world that's imbalanced, that tells us that you're not enough, you won't have enough money, you won't be good enough, you don't look this way, you don't do this. Where God says that's an illusion. And they want you to believe that, because then when you do, you give up your spiritual sovereignty. And so your spiritual sovereignty doesn't just allow you to create the life and the life experiences that you want to have, but it allows you to transcend the limitations of your own mind to heal the effects of your trauma. Because again, it's alchemy. It's like you're seeing a different version of yourself. That's the transmutation process. And by the way, that rage that's passed down, that's fire. That's the only element that can transmute anything and change it, but change it for the better. So it just, that energy just needs to be redirected. And this person actually helped you do it. They didn't mean to help you do it, but they helped you do it. And that's another reason why they're pissed off, I'm sure, because you were supposed to get stuck. The Spirit says, no, you learn the wisdom. Because when you grow up in an environment where someone made you feel not worthy, not good enough, it's like, not going to put my energy there. gonna put it into this person thought you were gonna like, I don't know what the hell they thought. Again, they were delusional. They were thinking again some fantasy like you were gonna fight for them, like cry, why are you leaving? You know, to get you to be reactive. It's like that's them, but you know why? Because it's happened before. Not with you, but with dumpster Sally, or dumpster Bob, like low vibe people. So this person like acting like that, stupid. Manifestation of light. And Spirit says you see the beauty in yourself. Grow and develop your inner self in harmony with the light and beauty. Free yourself from negativity. Your heart transforms, your intellect shines, and your inner light grows. So Spirit says that's it's all about you reverting back to your original energy of unconditional love so that you can actually attract what you want to attract into your life. This new person also, I believe, like you said, comes into your life, but there's what Spirit said there was a lot of people that come back into your life. So you may not want to be with any of those people. It's just the fact that the option is there, and that's what's pissing that person off too, is what Spirit's saying. It's like it doesn't really matter what they see is that you move forward. But because I'm like, I still didn't feel any energy. The Spirit says, no, because it's like right now it's all about you learning to love yourself. It's like because you didn't get that. So you have to reparent that. And reparenting that is like stimulating your imagination by going into the unknown, meeting new people, being on your soul's path, finding yourself, learning to love yourself is what Spirit says. That's what's supposed to happen. It's not that you won't date, but they probably won't be that significant, and that's because Spirit says, well, it's about you healing yourself. Doesn't mean that you won't like a person here or there, but Spirit says it's about attending to your own needs by listening to your own heart, that your inner essence lets you know what is good for you, and that you respect your limits and you answer the requests of your body and your soul, and you learn to love yourself. And Spirit says that's what it's about right now, learning to love yourself. And this was a test to see, do you love yourself? Do you love yourself? Because if you don't, you will go into the same karmic cycle that you just got out of, like again, made to feel not loved, neglected. That person, they, it would have been horrible. And so Spirit's saying it's like they can only do what they knew how to do, and that's because they haven't healed. But that's the thing with these karmic relationships. Everyone wins. It's just there's a lot of different realities that played out. You did the right thing. So this person is stuck with the reality that they don't really want to be in, that they're pissed off. But God says that's their karma. That sounds like a them problem, not a you problem. Now I'm going to bring in a lot of other people. So it's God says, well, I'm going to show this person like you're a good catch. They wanted to act like an asshole. Okay. You got a lot of people coming. You're going to be busy. Your career, traveling, doing different things. Believe me, this person is spitting wooden nickels. They're spitting wooden nickels. They're so pissed off. And it's like, that's their problem. It's like if they thought that it was going to go down different, they took a gamble. They lost. So I'm going to leave that there. Well, you're going to meet someone new soon, then. That's what it says. Sick mind of narcissist. Yeah, that's horrible. Yeah, meeting myself. Like, yeah, you gotta have a love affair with yourself right now. That's what it is. So that you really know what you like, what you don't like, who you are. So that this way, when a person comes into your life, that even if they're good looking, if they don't resonate with your energy, you won't even be attracted to them anymore because you want more than just looks, attraction. You want someone that's going to treat you the way that you want to be treated. It's like, and that's the thing. Sometimes these people come in and they're like, this person has such a big freaking ego. You know that they were in love with themselves. You know that they thought who they were. It's like, and that's why they're pissed off. It's like, no, you're not. Self-image cracked. It's not, that's not, that's what you want to believe, but that's not how you are. This person needed that. And like I said, they needed it because, hey, they're gonna keep going along like that. It's like making people self-servient to them. It's like, no. Right, like no games. No games, treat you with respect and you can get it. But, we always get tested. We always get tested. And that's the thing. And Spirit's saying it's like when you're balanced, you can tell when someone's imbalanced. A lot of times that weeds out a person, because if you're busy in your life, then, they have to be patient. They have to, you're setting boundaries because you're not always around, right? And so that person has to, fight for your attention. If you notice, narcissists love to divide and conquer. They like to come in real fast, real like doting. They become everything that you want them to become until they have you. Then they turn into who they really are. You're always trying to get it back to that version. And that version never really existed. It was just a lie. And that's how that person is they're like that because of how they were raised and because they choose not to do any work. That's, again, any type of relationship, you would have to be the one that is self-serving. And the bottom line is that sometimes they get people to be with them. And it's because, they come in handicapped. They come in like the victim. Oh, like this is what happened to me. And that person's like, oh, I'll save you. When meanwhile, they need to fucking save themselves. And then because understand after that person gets done with them, the victim gets done with them. Well, let me tell you something. It's like, then they're the victim and they're the real victim. And that's why I'm saying it's like you dodged a bullet. And that's why this person's angry. So love yourself enough to always do the right thing. I'm going to leave that there. I'll talk to you guys later. I'm really tired today. I will be on again tomorrow, and you will see me a few times tomorrow. All right. Thanks for tuning in. Bye bye.